In this week's lesson, we want to start talking about some of the ideas that undergird a lot of different world religions and philosophies. So we're not going to be talking particularly about one religion like Islam or Judaism. We're going to be talking about the ideas that reinforce those belief systems. So this week's lesson, we're going to be talking about theism. What is theism? Theism, in its most basic definition, is the belief in one or more gods or deities. And typically in theistic belief systems, humans or animals or the world are viewed as separate from those gods. There are some belief systems that say God is everything or everything is God, and we're going to be talking about that in the next lesson. So the distinction point is that theism says there's one or more gods and we are not God. And within theism, there are a few subcategories we can talk about as well. So the first of those would be monotheism. Monotheism simply is the belief in one God. We'll see this in religions like Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. The second subcategory is polytheism, which is the belief in more than one God. You don't see that too often nowadays, but if you think of the religions of ancient Greece, Rome, or even an empire like the Mayans, those are all polytheistic religions. The last category we want to talk about is henotheism. Henotheism essentially is the belief in many gods, so it's kind of like polytheism, but it takes one God and puts that God above the others. If you read the Old Testament, you'll actually see this at work. When Israel committed idolatry against God, it wasn't necessarily that they stopped believing in God altogether. It's that they venerated him amongst others, which he still said was not okay. So now that we've defined a few of our terms, we want to ask the question, what does the Bible say about theism? The Bible assumes God's existence from the very beginning. It never tries to prove that he's there. There's no three-part argument. There's nothing in Romans saying, all right, let me show you why there's a God. Instead, we just see God actively involved in the narrative of the Bible. We see him in creation. We see him in the history of Israel. We see him in Jesus. We see him in Revelation. That's how the Bible is theistic. So even though the Bible shows us a theistic worldview, it also gives us warnings and ways in which we can twist theism. And that's why there's the Ten Commandments. And that's why the Ten Commandments start by saying, I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of Egypt. You shall have no other gods besides me. God knew that people can twist theism. God knew that people could take who he is and make something different out of it. That's why the Old Testament warns the Israelites about falling to idolatry. The Bible implores us not only to believe that there are gods or there are spirits in the world, it implores us to follow the Lord God of Israel who revealed himself in Jesus Christ. James 2:19 says, you say you have faith, for you believe that there is one God. Good for you. Even the demons believe this. It's not enough just to believe that there is a God. We have to approach him according to the standards that he set. Anything less is idolatry.